Hello. We've all looked up at the stars from time to time, thinking about how big the universe is and how small we are. This wonder, this effort to understand, which has been with us since humans first existed, is one of the most basic things that makes us who we are. And there are amazing minds who followed this endless curiosity, who gave their lives to solve the universe's secrets, and who shaped the science of physics. Their discoveries didn't just change scientific equations, but also how we see the world, our life philosophy, and even our technology. These people, by standing on the shoulders of giants, gave us a wider view. In this video, we'll get to know some of these giants, scientists who made their mark on the history of physics and wrote their names in gold. We'll explore not just their scientific wins, but also their inspiring life stories, the tough times they faced, and their endless passion for learning. Because their stories are not just records of the past but also torches that light up our hopes for the future, inspiring us to push our own limits. Each of them, in their own time, bravely chased after questions that seemed impossible. If you're ready, let's go on this amazing journey together. Let's step into the world of physics giants and try to understand the universe through their eyes. On this journey, we won't just learn things but also see how those great minds thought, how they wondered, and most importantly, how they kept going when things got tough. Maybe these stories will help us look at our own life questions and challenges from a different angle. Let's begin this inspiring adventure from the past to today, guided by the light of science and curiosity. We're starting with maybe the most famous person in physics, Isaac Newton. Imagine the world before him was full of mysteries. People didn't fully understand how things moved or how objects in space behaved. People often thought that natural events were caused by gods, or they were explained with complicated ideas that didn't really make sense. It was during this time that a young man showed how smart he was by discovering a rule that applies everywhere, just by watching a simple apple fall. This wasn't just about an apple falling, it was the start of an idea that would completely change how people understood the universe. Newton wanted to explain the world he saw using math. This search would change science forever. Newton gave us the laws of motion, and the law of universal gravity. These were like keys to understanding how the universe works. Now, questions like why planets stay in their orbits, how tides happen, or why a ball falls in a certain curve, could be answered with exact math, not just mysterious explanations. His book, called Principia Mathematica, laid the groundwork for classic physics and guided scientists for centuries after him. Newton wasn't just a scientist, he was a revolutionary thinker who combined looking closely, experimenting, and using math to understand things. His ideas are still used today in many areas, from engineering to astronomy. They remind us that math is the language of nature. The strong classical physics structure that Newton built seemed unshakable for centuries. But in the early 20th century, the science world was facing new and confusing observations. Newton's physics began to fall short when it came to things like the speed of light and how moving objects behave. Right at this point, a young man born in Ulm, Germany, working at the patent office, stepped onto the scene, Albert Einstein. He asked questions no one dared to ask, and made us rethink the most basic ideas like time and space. Einstein set out not to destroy Newton's understanding of the universe, but to complete it with a broader view. His genius was in pushing the boundaries of what was known and developing a brand new way of understanding the fabric of the universe. Einstein's theories of relativity, both special and general relativity, were a total game changer. He showed that matter and energy are the same with the ELMC2 equation, opening the door to the nuclear age. More importantly, he redefined gravity not as a force, but as the bending of spacetime. Imagine that huge masses bend the spacetime around them like a heavy ball on a trampoline, and other objects follow these bent paths. This was very different from Newton's idea of gravity acting instantly, and it gave us new tools to understand the large-scale structure of the universe, black holes, and even the beginning of the universe. Einstein was not just a genius but also an inspiration who proved the place of imagination and intuition in science. Now we're taking a journey into a different area of physics, deep into the atom. And we meet one of science's brightest stars, Marie Curie. This amazing woman, originally from Poland, made history not only with her scientific discoveries but also with her fight as a woman in a male-dominated world. At that time, women's involvement in scientific work was very limited. But Marie Curie overcame all obstacles, and with her husband Pierre Curie under tough conditions in a rundown shed they used as a lab, she made groundbreaking experiments. Her story is a living example that determination, passion, and curiosity can overcome any difficulty. Opening the doors to a brand new and mysterious field like radioactivity showed what a sharp observer and tireless researcher she was. Marie Curie introduced the term radioactivity to science and found that thorium was also radioactive, not just uranium. Even more important, she was able to separate two new elements, which she named polonium and radium. These discoveries helped us understand the structure of the atom and led to the start of nuclear physics. Marie Curie is the first and only person to win Nobel Prizes in two different fields, physics and chemistry. During World War I, she developed mobile X-ray units that saved countless soldiers' lives. This also showed her deep sense of responsibility to use her scientific knowledge to help humanity. Marie Curie was not just a great scientist, but also a role model who inspired future generations with her courage, sacrifice, and love for science. Now, we move on to another giant who pondered the universe's greatest mysteries, like black holes and the origin of the universe, Stephen Hawking. Even though he was diagnosed with ALS, also known as amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, at a young age, he pushed the limits of his mind and tackled the universe's most complex problems. His story is one of the most striking examples of how human will and intelligence can overcome physical limitations. Despite being confined to a wheelchair and relying on a speech synthesizer, Hawking had a mind that traveled to the farthest reaches of the universe and the beginning of time. His greatest curiosity was to find a theory of everything that would combine Einstein's general relativity with quantum mechanics. This quest led him into the mysterious world of black holes. Hawking suggested that black holes are not entirely black and can slowly lose energy and evaporate through a mechanism known as Hawking radiation. This was a revolutionary idea that showed the laws of thermodynamics could also apply to black holes. He also did important work on singularities at the beginning of the universe and the Big Bang theory. Perhaps one of his greatest contributions was popularizing science by bringing these complex topics to millions of people through books like A Brief History of Time. Hawking was not just a theoretical physicist, but also an ambassador who brought the excitement of science and the desire to understand the universe to the masses. His legacy lives on through the big questions he asked and the bold answers he sought. And finally, we come to one of the most colorful and important figures in 20th century physics, the playful genius of the quantum world, Richard Feynman. Quantum mechanics is a theory that describes the strange and counterintuitive behavior of subatomic particles. Feynman won the Nobel Prize for his contributions to understanding this complex world, especially for developing the theory of quantum electrodynamics, or QED, which explains how light and matter interact. But what made Feynman special wasn't just his brilliant mind. It was also his very unique personality, his curious nature, his love for playing the bongos, and his amazing ability to explain complex physics ideas with incredible simplicity and humor. He showed that science wasn't just a serious and boring pursuit, but could also be a fun and adventurous journey of discovery. With simple drawings he called Feynman diagrams, he visualized the complex interactions of particles, giving physicists a powerful tool. These diagrams are still widely used today in particle physics calculations. Beyond his contributions to science, Feynman was an excellent teacher. His book series, The Feynman Lectures on Physics, became a basic resource for countless students and scientists worldwide. His role in the commission investigating the causes of the Challenger space shuttle accident and how he revealed the problem with a simple experiment showed his practical intelligence and his commitment to the truth. Feynman made science his way of life, always asking questions, questioning things, and trying to understand. His energy and excitement continue to inspire everyone interested in science. So, on this journey from Isaac Newton to Richard Feynman, we took a quick look at the stories and contributions of 5 great scientists who left their mark on the history of physics. Each of them helped us take huge steps in our effort to understand the universe. But these stories are not just about formulas, theories, or discoveries. These stories are also about human intelligence, curiosity, perseverance, and passion. Despite the difficulties they faced, the limited means of their time, and sometimes prejudice, they bravely walked towards the unknown. Their light continues to guide us even today. Thank you all for joining me on this short journey into the fascinating world of these scientists. I hope their stories have sparked new curiosities in you and encouraged you to ask more questions about the universe and science. Remember, there is no end to science and discovery. Every answer brings new questions, and humanity's desire to understand always remains fresh in this endless cycle. The new generations who will take the torch from where they left off, I am sure, will carry us to an even brighter future. In this series, we will continue to share the stories of other inspiring figures who have shaped science and humanity, because learning, discovering, and being inspired is a lifelong adventure. Until we meet in the next video, stay curious, never stop asking questions, and continue to explore the limits of your own potential. Goodbye.